What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Single Guys channel. My name's Lloyd, and today we're going to be talking about a very fun subject, and that's what to do if you can't get it up in the bedroom. Okay, this is actually a surprisingly common occurrence, especially with the modern era. You know, I've been doing this dating coaching for some time now, and I've seen this happen with a lot of different guys across all, age groups. And it happens usually when you bring home the girl of your dreams, ironically. You bring home this girl that you've been waiting to have sex with for the longest time. You finally get her home, the clothes are coming off, things are getting hot and heavy, and then you can't get it up. And you're just kicking yourself. You're like, why is this the one time it's happening? Look, man, like, this happens to a lot of guys out there, and it's a mental issue, okay? It's not, you don't have any medical conditions going on. You don't need to get a prescription from your doctor. 99.99% of the time, this is a mental issue, okay? Something's going on in your head that's preventing this from happening, okay? So in this video, what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover how to handle these mental issues that are going on in your head when this is happening to you. So you bring home a girl, or you're with a girl that you really like after a date or something, and it's getting hot and heavy, and you feel like it's not going to happen. What should you do to get past this point? First thing, relax. Relax, dude. You're gonna be okay. You'll survive. The more you start worrying about it, the worse it's gonna be, because it's kind of like a feedback loop. You start worrying about it, then you don't get hard, and then because you're not getting hard, you start worrying about it more, and then it just kind of feeds into itself. You have to stop that cycle, okay? This has happened to guys before. Any person who's had sex with a lot of, who has had a lot of sex in their life, it's probably happened to them at least once or twice. One of the ways that you could start relaxing is by going into step number 2, which is focus on your breathing and focus on her breathing as well too. In fact, I would actually suggest that you try and sync your breath up with her, so when she's breathing, you're breathing at the same time too. Now, this is going to bring, I actually think this is really, really hot, when you're with somebody and your breath is synced at the same time. And when you're doing this, what it's also going to do is it's also going to distract your mind, because you're thinking, it helps get rid of that chatter. Once you start focusing on your breath and you breathe in, focus on it, you're going to start to eliminate a lot of those voices going on in your head that are preventing your dick from coming in the picture. And so also too, when you're focusing on her breathing as well, it brings a sense of connection between you guys. And that a lot of times, just by focusing on your breathing alone, just by kind of syncing up your breaths, not only can it make the sex really great, but can actually solve a lot of the problems that you're having in the bedroom too. So try that. And also too, focus on a lot of the other aspects that are associated with sex as well. And that brings me to step number 3, which is spend more time on the foreplay. Too many guys are rushing in because they've seen videos or they've seen stuff in a pornography video or something like that. They think things go down a certain way, and so they're just thinking about their dick. They think that's the most important thing. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is having a connection with that person, having fun and feeling good with them. That's the whole thing. And foreplay should be fun. It should be part of the whole sexual experience. I say this on my channel all the time, which is like, if sex is like a movie, penetration is usually like the last 15 minutes. But you can't enjoy that last 15 minutes if you fast forward through the first hour and a half of the movie, okay? Women really care about that first hour and a half of the movie, and guys, a lot of times we're just trying to get to that last 15 minutes, but if you're nervous as well too, you'll really need to focus on that hour and a half as well. And chances are, if you're with a new person, you're still trying to figure each other out, don't rush into things. Take time to appreciate her body, and also too, dude, figure out what you like. Figure out what feels good for you. It was a while before I actually asked myself that question. I thought I was supposed to like certain things. I thought I was supposed to do it in this way, thinking of sex as like some sort of like test or something like that, which is a terrible way to think about it. But once I started noticing certain things about myself, like for instance, I thought that a blowjob was the best thing to get me turned on. It's actually not. The best thing to get me turned on is actually me being naked with a person and, rubbing up against them, having my whole body feeling that person. I just feel a sense of connection to that person a lot more than I do if the girl's going down on me, which, not that I don't love that. Blowjobs are freaking awesome, but I know the things that turn me on the most when I'm with someone. So ask yourself that question, experiment, try new things. Whatever you feel, if you're feeling good, she's gonna feel good too. A lot of times when you first have sex with somebody, people are just they're just so nervous and they just don't want to make a bad impression. And so you leading the way and you doing the stuff that makes you feel good a lot of times is a good way to go. And take time to appreciate parts of her body as well too. Don't just, take time to like kiss her, bite her neck, do all that sorts of stuff. Oral sex is really great too to get yourself into it as well. And so don't ignore all of those things. Don't just skip them to get to that last 15. And I know some of you are wondering, how long should I be spending on the foreplay? Well, I say you should at least aim for 20 minutes. Some books say 45 minutes. I think that 45 minutes can be a little long for some people, but if you aim for 20, you're probably going to end up at around 10 or 8 minutes, which is usually the average anyway. So aim for 20 minutes, and if 20 minutes have gone by and it's still not happening for you, you need to start doing step number 4, which is address the situation, okay? If it's not happening, it's not happening, man. Address it. Tell her. Like, talk to her. One of the big parts of this is that you're not comfortable with the person, and if there's a lot of stuff left unsaid that you're unsure about, well, then that's probably the reason why it's not happening for you. And as well too, like, what are you gonna do? The worst thing that you can do at this point is to pretend like it's not happening, try and fool her into thinking that you're hard by using your fingers or something like that. It's just gonna make it really awkward and uncomfortable. The best thing that you can do is address the situation and try and discuss it. Try and make the best of a bad situation. And a lot of times, guys, what this is gonna allow you to do, because you're in such a vulnerable spot, it's going to allow you to connect with the person at a new level that you never thought you could. Look, there's women are actually pretty understanding about this. I've talked to a lot of women, and if they like a guy, this is not going to be a make or break type situation for them. If they like you that the foundation is built up before then. And sure, if you can never sexually satisfy her, that's probably going to be a problem. And sure, too, if she's just looking for, to get laid that night, well, then she's probably not going to call you back there. So you basically missed out on, 20 minutes of sex with a condom on. So it's not that big of a deal. What you should do is talk to her, say, hey, maybe a way to bring that up, the way I've done it in the past is I've said, hey, it just takes me a little bit of time to get comfortable with somebody. And so, let's just hang out and do some other stuff in the meantime. Maybe you can give her like a little massage, and that way you can have some fun doing something else that's also physical, but not necessarily penetrative sex. You can also say something like, oh, you're just super attractive. I'm just really nervous right now. So let's just do something else for a little bit and then see if it works later. As soon as you start talking about this, a lot of times what will happen is you'll start to relax. You'll start to have those nervous feelings. They'll go away. You've accepted kind of your fate. She's on the same page as you. And a lot of times when you start talking about this, it starts to help, The problems that I've had when it comes to this issue is I've only had it maybe once or twice with one person, but I've had it a lot with group sex type situations. If I'm having a threesome, or if there's another guy in there too, we have a couple girls and a guy as well, there's just so many moving parts, kind of freaks me out, especially if I don't know these people very well. So what I do in those situations to make myself feel more comfortable is I kind of focus on one girl, spend a little bit more time with her, talk to her for a little bit, and then once I'm ready, then I go over to the other people, and if you're with one person, you really have to do the things that you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable. Your dick is telling you something if it's not getting hard. It means it's not comfortable. It means it feels like maybe you're going to be judged, or maybe she's not really that into you, or maybe she's thinking bad things about you or something like that. If you talk to them, if you communicate well, and you address the situation, a lot of that stuff is going to go away, and usually by the end, hey, it starts getting up. So hopefully this helps you guys. These are all the tips that I have for you. If you do all of these tips, this is probably going to solve 90% of your problems. And look, this takes time. You've had these mental challenges in your head, these negative mindsets, and you've thought about sex in a certain way for a long period of time. One of the things that I think helps a lot too is doing no FAP, which is where you don't jerk off and don't look at pornography. I think a lot of that can help, but a lot of times this doesn't completely solve the problem. People still have the mental things going on that are preventing them from really being able to embrace their sexuality and get it up when it comes down time to it. If I would give a 5th step to this, it would be stop thinking about sex as a test for your masculinity and start thinking about it as something that's just fun between two adults. Sex is supposed to be fun, man. And you can do a lot of other things that don't involve you giving her the pounding of her life or whatever. So focus on those things a little bit too, and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Communicate with them, be more comfortable with the people that you're with. You're gonna have a lot better sex, you're gonna have a lot more fun sex, and it's gonna make your life overall just a lot less stressful. So hopefully this helped you guys. If you made it, then consider subscribing. If you do all of these things and it doesn't work for you, dude, shoot me an email. I'm pretty sure we can figure it out. I coach guys, a lot of my students, I coach through this. So if you're interested in my one-on-one coaching program where I help guys have more options when it comes to women taking their dating life to a new level, shoot me an email, thesingleguy2017@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, y'all. Good luck out there.